I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies.
Welcome to Cookies, the world's most influential basketball podcast. It is Monday, the 1st of June. Andrew Quo, rent is due. The finals are coming to New York City. The Knicks are going to win in 6, as they say. You gotta be in a good mood today.
And Jeremy Lin watch. Will he make an appearance? Where is this man? Big week in New York, man. It sucks to pod like once a week because by the time the next perfect pod happens, they will have played 3 games?
Yeah, I believe they're Wednesday,
2.
Friday. I think 2.
Sunday?
I think 2. I believe
Yeah.
they're giving us a bonus day in between
Of
games
rest.
2 and 3. We've discussed this in the past on an annual basis, but we get a little bittersweet when all of a sudden there's like 2 basketball games a week. What just happened? What happened to the sport I love?
We used to pod every day for a while. Man, COVID. Those were the days. We went to a party last night, a memorial service, where I saw people I hadn't seen since the days of everyday potting.
Yeah, that was at Union Pool Memorial for our buddy, Doug Shaw. A lot of familiar faces, people who knew him more recently, people who knew him for years and years and years. I mean, a very unique bohemian soul, the kind of person that is an increasing rarity in New York City for many, many reasons.
To backtrack, Doug Shaw is a musician, plays under the name High Life, played in this band called White Magic, a British bloke, moved to New York City when I believe he was like 17 or 18, been around for a while. EP got Best New Music under his High Life name and had just finished his full length for, I think, Domino,
Yep.
but now there's a little bit of ambiguity there when it's going to come out. And he died suddenly and tragically this week of an accident or of natural causes, basically. But he knew a fuck ton of people, man. I was like, I'm sad my friend died. And then I scrolled through Instagram. I'm like, this motherfucker knew everybody.
Yeah, I was funny because I found out and then walked over to get coffee and ran into someone who was friends with him. I was like, damn. Went on with my day, went to get pizza, ran into someone who's like, it's got me fucked up, man. Like, Doug. Like, yeah. Went to go watch a basketball game at a bar. The bartender's like, oh, Doug. It was just all day in every situation. And then, as you mentioned, you go on Instagram, you go on, like your recommended, whatever it is, your like For You page on Instagram, whatever it's called. And it was just Doug playing. And it was amazing and scrolling through it. But yeah, just an omnipresent force within music, but also socially.
Yeah, he was very talented. I called him last night. I spoke of him as a professional chiller, but he was really good at chilling. And he was a dude you would see riding along on his bike with his long blonde hair, or like walking down every street you turn on. But he was also an incredible musician. I was joking with my wife, and I was trying to tell her about him and his personality. I was like, oh man, he was a mess. He was so annoying. He was my guy. All these conflicted thoughts. And she was like, all right, play one of his songs for me. And I played like a live bootleg that I didn't know was on iTunes. And she was like, God damn, this guy's amazing. How is he not famous? I'm like, because he's like most of our other friends that we saw last night. Like, so close and so far.
Yeah, I saw him play at Henry Street Settlement a few weeks back, and I feel really fortunate that I decided to do that. So there's sometimes when someone passes away, and you realize there was an opportunity to see them or do something with them one more time, and you missed it. Or sometimes it was your own fault. Sometimes it was just the fates intervening. And this one, I just feel very blessed that I went down and watched him play, and was, a couple of his friends and him on a stool. And he went there and his 95-year-old guitar, just played a set. And it was at an art event, kind of a sort of gala type gathering with people in a backyard and eating some pizza and having some drinks. But yeah, I got to just have like a Doug performance for like basically 5 people, who were intently watching him as other people milled around. So yeah, I was really, obviously, his death is terrible. I felt like I really lucked out to see him play, a couple weeks ago.
The joke with Doug is he would play. The joke I have with Doug is he'd play a trash can. You'd be like, "Yo, Doug, can you play this janitor's closet?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, dude." It's like, Doug, can you play like the opening part of my opening where like we hang the paintings? He's like, "Yeah, I'll chill out." He's like, "You gonna buy me pizza or what?" I'm like, "Definitely." But you couldn't get him to record, and that was our inside joke. I was I think I was standing outside of Billy Jones's memorial, and I saw him riding his bike. And he just screamed at me. He goes, "Andrew, I'm sorry for everything, but I'm better now." And this was a few months ago. And I was like, is he talking about his album? Because every time I saw him, he'd be like, "Oh, I got these perfect microphones. Oh, I found this pedal." And it was always building up to this album that is done. Josh Dibb from Animal Collective recorded it. He was there last night. He says it's amazing, and he just has to. Doug's part is done, so we will hear this record for sure. It exists, which is incredible. I was talking to one of my friends, and to your point about like kind of a dying breed, the room was full of. I called it like sad record collecting men, and it was like this kind of like the fumes of other music, the fumes of the Pitchfork era, where everyone was kind of in a band, and the promise of fame and fortune was around the corner, and it wasn't for most people, because how could it be? And I was talking to somebody at the bar who was really kind of shattered by this, and he was like, "I just hope he wasn't in pain. I just hope his last thoughts were good thoughts. I hope it was interrupted and not like he was suffering for a period of time." And I was like, I kind of got mad, because I was like, dude, we've been friends for 25 years. I've seen noise concerts with you. I have sat at bars with you watching the sun come up, talking about like trippy ass thoughts. What do you mean his last thought? I thought we went through this. What have we been doing for 2.5 decades? It's like there are no last thoughts. The thoughts just keep going. So I was like kind of fuming, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, he was so fired up about the Knicks. Also, I was just like,
I, I was
I'm
lolling,
like,
right?
fuck,
Right.
dude, of all the times, like, there's never a good time for this to occur. But right before the Knicks go to the finals, I'm like, oh, come on, Sleepy Doug.
I was lolling, right? Because I think I had heard about this, and then I texted you, and I was like, something weird happened with Doug. No one knows yet. And you were like, well, he was psyched about the Knicks, so it couldn't have been that. And I was like, fucking, I was like, I did a double take, and I was like, basketball? All right, there's basketball in life.
I was, yeah,
Definitely,
people like,
like basketball. I was
like it could have been self harm. Like, no chance.
I know. Yeah,
No.
I call the chef, and it's like, no chance. He wanted to come in and try the falafel. No chance.
I was like, honestly,
Um,
it didn't even cross my mind that he would have done that with the Knicks headed to the NBA Finals. No chance.
it's like no way. There's a new Animal Collective album coming out. No, but he had made an album with Geologist, which I revisited, which was cool. But a very intense part of my personal New York life Dougie Shaw, and damn, I forgot how many openings of mine he just would sit in the corner and play. We used to have a band, a very loose concept of a band, where five of homies would get up on stage and just like do stuff. Um, it was a funny era. And we had an open invitation to Doug Shaw. It was like, yo, if you come through, which we know you will, you can just join us and do whatever the hell you want. You can practice out, more material. You can order a pizza. He did all of those things. Like every single time he would roll up and like try out something new. So it's crazy. We were joking last night. Now every time I see someone with like normal ass blonde hair, like a Kelly Olynyk, I'm like, there's fucking Doug again. I'm like, oh no, there is not Doug again. Never
It was
again.
happening repeatedly last night.
Yeah. Yeah. No. It was a classic hang, but not to get too dour, but like I really enjoyed seeing uh the heads, man. These are some lifers. I was like, where's so and so? It's like, oh, they moved to Thailand to paint. I'm like, that's amazing. Where's this other person? It's like, they're in LA recording an album. I'm like, I love it.
Yeah, it was good little reunion under um, less good circumstances. Yeah, Doug's for me more recently. Doug's omnipresence was that like I'm like I'm gonna walk around Greenpoint. I'm gonna get some steps in. There's a bar that I never go in. It's empty except for one person, and it's Doug. He's like, "What's up, dude?" You're like, "All right, we're gonna chat for an hour, Doug, about a girl you met in Anchorage, Alaska, or a basketball conversation,
Yeah.
or something about his
Weird. You?
new
Yeah.
album." It was just I've spent an abnormal amount of time just chatting with Doug over like a pint of beer about whatever than I've spent with people I consider, far closer friends. Like I got a lot of Doug time in.
Yeah, and like to segue into a broader New York thing, like it's certainly, I don't know, uh, age specific, but I do feel, especially with all this like Manhattanhenge talk and who the Knicks belong to, how long the bona fides of living in any place. Um, and I remember seeing Doug like right kind of before the pandemic, as everyone was starting families, getting older, kind of like disbanding their projects, moving to Georgia. He was like, "Where's everybody? I am everywhere. I don't see anybody. Where are you? Where have you guys been?" And we're like, "Doug, we all got married, had kids, and stopped drinking and smoking and all this stuff." And he was like, "Well, start up again because there's a lot more shit to do." Which was amazing, and I was like, "Doug, I'll see you when I see you," which went from every day to, like, 4 times a year. But I do think the style of chiller that he it was something that was so prevalent in my life that kind of vanished overnight.
Yeah, I mean, there's the economic realities, but if you're someone like Doug who knows everyone, and he's just a prototype, but we know this larger prototype. It's like, well, you can know where you'll drink for a fraction of the price. You can
Mhm.
go out there and have a couple drinks. You know some people who work there. You know where you might be able to get a bite for free, and you kind of work out a way to meander through one of the most expensive cities on earth on a shoestring budget by guile and determination.
I mean, it was an easy proposition, right, for him because he knew he was a fucking great musician. So he befriended other musicians who worked in restaurants and bars. And then you can kind of settle in, right? You can carve out a pretty rich social life that way. Um, as far as I've ever known Doug, he has never had a job. I think he tried art handling for a second, and he was just like, I just kind of want to play music. I'm like, are you recording anything? He's like, never. And I really love that shit. Like I love the artist who has yet to paint. The liminal spaces, right? Back rooms. It's just like I'm in between not being a great artist and being a great artist indefinitely.
Yeah, he wasn't someone that you would get the news. Yeah, Doug, he stopped wearing giant pinstripe pants. He works in an office now. He's an account executive, and he's
Yeah.
became a square. Nah, did not predict that for him.
Yeah, I mean, there have been conversations about those among us who have given up, and I would claim maybe that's myself. I've never been punk. Like I've always made sure I had like rent money and stuff like that. I don't lose my guitars every time I play a show. Things of that nature. I don't drop my bags of weed on the street and backtrack all day, you know? So I can't claim to ever have been punk, even though I got my top 10 punk albums listed right here. But I love being around people who were real. I kind of gleaned that off of them. I am Taj Gibson, dude. I like to be around greatness. That's all.
You are kind of the Fort Greene representative in the NBA. Taj Gibson,
Yeah,
New York lifer.
that's right.
But yeah, it was nice seeing everyone yesterday. And yeah, Doug Shaw will obviously be missed both as a person and a musician and as like a force around downtown New York and Greenpoint also.
You heard that, basketball. Win for Doug. Basketball, you have a job to do.
Um, so you were complaining about the top 10 spice bags in New York City. And we went through the list and you said, this isn't the real list. I've got my own list of the top 25 spice bags. And we know this is a psyop. Are we being
I love this.
Are we being tricked by computers, Andrew?
I mean, when are we not getting tricked by computers? But I love a list. Any lists. There's this new, I guess it's an AI account that has been making like slop lists of like top 10 pizza spots, top 10 neighborhoods. And it's doing this amazing thing where it'll drop like top 10 chicken wings in New York based off of reviews, based off of heat, based off of attention online chatter. So it aggregates what it thinks we think is the best. But then it'll, and in the same day, repost that list, being like, "Well, we ran a different prompt, and this is the updated list, like within hours," which I think is like incredible. I love the idea of like a living album. I forget which band. There's a band that re-recorded Car Seat Headrest, I believe, had a classic record that came out decades ago, and on its anniversary, they added onto it, and people got really mad. And I'm like, fuck it. That's why you buy the record. But if you are committed to Twitter or any streaming service, like, is it not alive? Is there a final thought? Is there suffering? Or just like, is it just what it is?
It's Kanye fixing wolves forever.
It's awesome, right? Or it's like, yo, I re-listened to this and like, this is not the album I remember. I'm like, that's incredible.
I mean, that would be the ultimate indignity, right? People going back to your cherished classics and be like, yeah, we inserted a new bonus track. We remixed that one. Like, wait, why would you do that now? Like, we can. Technology is there.
Yeah. And it's like, it's kind of the user tells on itself, right? Because it's like, well, I liked it the way I remembered it. And it's like, well, don't you have the record, CD, 8-track? Like, don't you have the cassette tape? Like that exists. It's like when you see a painting on your phone, it's not the painting, right? Like it is the light in the room, the filters, the camera, all of these things, the settings you have on your screen. It's like that is not Guernica, it's pixels.
Would you like to listen to this classic Wu-Tang album with an AI Biggie swapped in for Capadonna? Perhaps.
Like, did they ever? They never made that movie with Bruce, a CGI Bruce Lee, right? Because I think after Final Fantasy came out, the CGI Final Fantasy, they're like, we can't get this right. No one's been able to get it right. Star Wars tried with Princess Leia, but it hit a ceiling, and no one can find a way to break through.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the dream, Andrew, that they can. It will get, the technology will get there to bring us the AI slop that we crave. But
I mean, bring us. I mean, are we not just have we not been in it for 20 years?
yeah,
You know, like fine, you can make Bruce Lee, like do it. Fuck, do I care? Like,
well,
was the movie good? I don't know.
well, also, you saw the statistic, I believe, that up until like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, like 98% of all content on the internet had been written by humans. And like now it's at 45% or it's at 50%. After only
Yeah.
this small window of time that AI writing language models have risen to prominence, it's already half of the internet. And half of that are top 10 spice bag lists.
I'll do a spice bag list anytime. And it's probably a better list than if I made it, because like I want this metric with food stuff, or even basketball takes, or politics. And mostly politics, they already like clock what race you are, what age group you are, etc. You know, in terms of voter base. I want this for everything. It's just like that spice bag was number one. I'm like, are you Asian or Irish? Like, I want to know, like, what part of you is saying this? What part of the population thinks that this spice bag is number seven? Like, I don't know. I watched a chicken nugget review, like a long one on YouTube. It was a white male chef, butcher, a white female chef, and a white male, I mean, and an Asian male. And they went through all this stuff. Every time it would get to the Asian man, he'd be like, it's kind of good. It's a chicken nugget. I'm like, I'm kind of with him. And the white guys were just like, well, it has preservatives. It doesn't have the right feel. It's injected with like fillers. And the Asian guy was like, okay, this is like cafeteria food, but still really good.
So I can't tell if you're into eugenics or you're into like, it's just like woke 2.5.
It's like I like no one else looks at the game within the game. You guys are watching buckets, watching balls go in hoops. I am looking for screeners. I am looking at front offices eating chicken nuggets.
Yeah, most people, they're kind of focused on like who scores the points. Not you. Not you. You're like,
Let me see that
of
screen sizzle.
what kind of preservatives are keeping Taj Gibson in the league? What's happening here?
One of the best online ideas I ever saw, remember, I think we did a segment on it, was that guy who went on Yelp, and uh, his theory was Asian restaurants that got like middle scores were actually better than the ones that got high scores.
Yeah,
Because
he had pinned it down to something like you're looking for the 3.4 or
yeah,
something
3.5 or
like
something.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because of bias, right? And he was just like, all information is good, but the people who use Yelp that are turned off enough by an Asian restaurant probably means it's a form of something Asians find delicious, which still my favorite idea.
Yeah, I like that as well. And I've seen it referenced recently. Like, remember the sweet spot for the Asian Yelp review. Now, I don't know if
Yeah.
this corresponds to Google reviews as well, which I find very unreliable. I really don't like the Google reviews. The point that
Yeah.
you made before, though, sorry, about the
No.
AI generated top 10 list, I don't necessarily get its functionality on Twitter or X, the everything app, other than if you already are making that content, you might as well drop it on there if you're going to automate this whole process. But I see the strategy for especially like Reels or just for Instagram overall, because you generate these lists, you tag all those restaurants, and every restaurant that is like, hey, for the first time ever, someone just put us in a top 10 wings list. Incredible.
Right.
Time to blast that out to our followers. Time to repost that. Trying to put that on the grid. Like, why would they not? They're being praised. And like, we don't have top 10 wings. We don't even have good wings. But someone just declared that we are the best in New York City. Let's get that out there. And they're doing that all day. Like, all right, run up another 10 wings. We need another 10 wings all day. Let's shout out 200 restaurants in New York City and claim that they all have elite wings. Good
And
business
this
model.
is like, yeah, and this is like, talk about back in the day, but Malcolm Gladwell kind of did this with his 10,000 Hour book. It's like, in my mind, let's say you made fine wings. They're okay. And then all of a sudden you have an artificially inflated attention from these top 10 slop lists, and people start flooding your shop. Do you, just through the process of supply and demand, start making better wings? Right? Like, it's like, oh, we have to make 100 of these today. Like, the 100th batch of wings is going to be better than the first, maybe.
Or they get a reputation for good wings, and people go there and say, I don't know, man, these wings are kind of ass. These wings
That's
might
the
be
danger.
cheeks. And you're like, shit. There's now an
That's what I mean.
expectation, and now our reviews are plummeting because everyone says our wings are overrated.
Yeah.
No,
It's like,
you got to get in the
we
lab.
have a line down the block, don't fuck this up, right? Like, if you make a 5 bad batches of wings, all this money is going to evaporate. So, are they cooked? Are they crispy? Are they seasoned, right? Like, you start paying closer attention because there's incentive.
Speaking of top 10, that New York Times top 100 list finally came out in print. We had talked about it a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, they really slow rolled that one out. But it ran in print yesterday. And I went to one of those places on the list, Tone Cafe, that's out there in Brighton Beach. It's a Georgian restaurant. Fantastic. Went for lunch on a nice Saturday. Only people in the place. This idea that the New York Times was going to ruin these places and the gatekeepers were upset. Like, no one was there.
What's your theory?
My theory is that for people who are interested in the mission to eat Georgian food in Brighton Beach, they already know where to go.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder, you can walk by Katz's Deli at a certain time every day and it's empty. I don't think it's a sleepy restaurant by any means, but what time did you go?
Just for lunch, like on a Saturday.
I mean, that could be a clue, right? Like, I don't know, but like, I saw a podcast about this list with the person who put it together, Lagaya Mishan, and it was a really thoughtful conversation about lists, right? And about stability and instability, and how lists can wield power but also dismantle power. And the conversation was about how the New York Times, this specific list, was kind of like taking a bit of a piss on this idea of lists, and how much trouble the reviewer had eating a food truck next to fine dining. And it was like, how do you quantify these two experiences into a number that you put next to another number? And she was like, I just did it. It's just like, there's the cheapest thing on here is a beef patty, and the most expensive thing is like truffles.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed a little bit about some of our people who work in the restaurant world saying this isn't exactly fair. We're providing this kind of experience. We're providing, this knowledgeable somm to help you pick out an expensive $150 wine that goes with your $200 dinner on this special night. And we're being next to a food truck that you're, eating out of a small plastic tin. But also at the same time as the person you're referencing, Yeah, fuck it. What
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? A bunch of different lists? We want to make one list. We don't want to have fine dining lists.
Yeah.
We don't want to have food truck lists. Might as well throw it all together. And I did appreciate that some of the writing was even first person on it, which was kind of funny. It's like I went
Yeah.
to this place and I met this guy named Mr. Cardamom. Like I know where this is going, but
Yeah, right.
there were different ones where they did seem to take into account this whole process. It didn't. I like the list, to be honest. I thought it was
Yeah.
interesting
They
and
always do a
fun.
good job. It's a great list. Yeah, I agree. Man, I saw a slop list that was pizza tier to your point. Ooh, I'm in a rage about this. Like Lucali number one, that's fine. And then like slice shops after, like, Lindustry, um, Jeremy Lindustry. And I was like, those are two different things. Not to be a stickler about this, but reheated pizza is different than a whole pie that's brought to your table out of the oven. Two different things. I'm not even talking about Neapolitan because this is such an annoying thought I had. Toast is bread, but bread is not toast. So you cannot equate a walk-in utility slice to a Lucali pie. Apples and oranges, buddy.
That's sort of different from putting all the different cuisines and ways of eating on a list together because there is a difference. But also, can't you say the same thing? We did it. Yeah, we're putting your utility
Yeah.
slice next to your fine dining slice. We're doing it, Andrew. You can't stop us.
It's like this basketball thing. It's just like, oh, I'm so upset about this. Okay, that's done. you know, it's like it's not like policy or like taxation. It's like, here are my top 10 Chinese wing spots. I'm like, oh, I'm mad about this. Okay, I'll try some of them.
You can't compare Allen Iverson to Karl Malone. They're completely different players. They mean so much. Yeah, also, anyway, moving along. I'm over that
John
now.
Hondo Havlicek, my guy.
Oh man, just thinking about all those awards that the Celtics have won. But yeah, we'll get more into that later.
Yeah.
All those awards. Um, another local story here that I saw, New York Magazine, Media Rundown. The residents of Dumbo are furious that it has become this epicenter for tourists. And I don't know if you've been to Dumbo, especially there underneath the bridge by the water. It is
Last week.
it is crazy. There are
Yep.
so many people, and it's really just trying to figure out the photo. And you see people getting in alignment so that they can exclude other people from the same photo that they're simultaneously trying to take of the bridges and the cobblestones and whatnot. But the residents, particularly people who moved there after it was an enclave for artists and bought these extremely expensive lofts, millions and millions of dollars, are fuming about the fumes, the smells, the sounds of tourists, the food trucks that accompany them. Is there anyone sympathetic in this in this dispute?
I think the people taking pictures are sympathetic. They're all artists wanting to get that perfect shot. That's kind of amazing. I also think Manhattanhenge is beautiful. Like, I am not immune to that beautiful sight. It's like it's that cliche. You meet someone at a loud bar, you hit it off. Um, you, rather, you live above a loud bar. You go downstairs, you meet someone, you hit it off, you get married, you start a family, and then you call the cops on that bar because it's too loud, but you live above it, right? So it is kind of like a loose tether to either a memory or a kind of like a social practice that you abandon as your needs present themselves. So if you had bought, classic New York story, if you bought an expensive loft in the shadow of the romance of Dumbo and Manhattan and bohemian living, but it was so expensive that it feels as if the traffic encroaches on your investment.
I presume they are feeling exactly that
Yeah.
because
I don't blame them, man.
I
Those are expensive lots.
I don't blame them, but I'm also not sympathetic. It's like,
No.
like, yeah, I guess that's true that if you wanted to move, the like magnetism of this as a tourist trap now makes that
Yes.
unlikely to get your same money back, but it probably has accrued in value anyway, so shut up.
This is the Elizabeth Street Garden debate, isn't it? Because people have invested so much into that neighborhood, and that garden is kind of like symbolic of the investment that neighborhood has made. And to put a municipal building, a senior retirement center there, kind of changes that uh, calculus of investment. And while the city is a living organism, like a Kanye West streaming song, you don't want you want the evolution to coincide with your evolution.
Yeah, the Elizabeth Street Garden is a topic that I just don't have a strong opinion on. I get both sides. I don't have to make this decision. I'm like, I get it. It's cool. I like having it there. I've always enjoyed having it there. I've enjoyed sitting in there. I've enjoyed going to parties in that apartment that was near it. I, I like it. I like its presence. I also think, yeah, some housing for seniors would be cool. Sure, as long as it's not being turned into condos for wealthy people. That's also a plan that has merit. Yeah, no strong feelings. And the only thing I would say is that, like, once you turn a garden into an apartment building, you're never getting the garden back.
What if what if the business that takes the space of Cozy Soup and Burger was Cozier Soups and Burgers and More Burgers? Like, what if it was just the same restaurant but better? Like that's the question, right? Like, I lament the disappearance of my memories, but also I'm looking at Elizabeth Street Garden. I'm like, they're gonna build on this, aren't they? Like, you don't really move above a bar and think it's going to be peaceful, or you don't make that bar bend to your will, right? And uh, I think they should build on top of the Elizabeth Street Garden. I think they should just make that change. But I don't know. I'm into the idea of this city not looking like it did 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think you get some of those parallels with, not to get into gentrification discussions, but when people would move to like Crown Heights or Bed-Stuy.
We'll talk about Jalen Brunson later, man. Gentrification, we'll talk about the finals later.
But people moving in and saying like, "Oh, this neighborhood is so funky. It's like a funky neighborhood. It's vibrant." But I call the
Does
cops.
that mean there's Asians there, or is Sleepy Doug on the corner?
I think funky was just euphemism for people of color. It's
Yeah.
funk. It's a funky neighborhood. It's bohemian. It's eclectic. But
Yeah.
like, you know what? Also, I'm going to call the cops on the teens who are hanging out on the stoop. Like, I know they grew up here. I know they were born in this building and their parents live here. But I just purchased this place for a pretty penny, and I'd like to get the cops involved. I don't want anything bad to happen to those kids. I just want them to go inside.
Is it the fault of the person who purchased that investment property, or the market offering that investment property? Like, is the user at fault? Do you know what I mean? Like, Twitter X sucks. Could it be us? Are we the problem? No, it's the platform, it's the market, it's the housing market, right? Like, I am just existing.
Oh yeah, I mean, to me, and you can't expect that sort of like self-reflection from people, but it's like, well, if you want to be part of this community that's based on, in theory, you sort of embracing the community itself versus saying, I'm planting my stake in here because I had $1.2 million to put down. Like, that's my introduction to your community, is I can pay more for this than you can, versus saying, hey, I'm new here. Teach me CeeLo. Let's roll some dice. Let's do this.
Yeah, I mean, it totally kind of depends, but I on one hand, I want to be the person who's just like, change is good, but I am also the person who thinks change is bad. It is always based off of personnel, and that's why like Mondami's tax, the 1% tax on unoccupied real estate property is funny, right? It's kind of a gotcha because it's like you don't even live here. Like if you lived here, you would not have to pay this. I'm just saying you can't hold this spot for investment purposes only because like we want to live in a city that's changing, breathing, making top 10 lists. I thought that was a pretty good gotcha. And like, oh, I'm just gonna take my presents and leave. I was like, well, you're not even here. That's the whole point.
Okay, look, if you keep incrementally raising taxes on me, an extremely wealthy man, I'm going to move to Orlando. I'll do it. I'm going to
Yeah.
leave New
And
York City and head off to Sarasota. I'm going to move to someplace around Fort Worth.
and then Fort Worth Twitter pops off and it's just like, we don't want this here. We like it how it is. Um, I don't know. I don't know. It's like I took the bus to the bar last night and there was like a legitimately unstable man on the bus and families, and everyone was like took off their headphones and paid very close attention, right? And this guy was like screaming. It was near Woodhull Hospital, which you know where the services are offered to people who need them. But this guy was having an episode, and he was like threatening everybody. He was getting up in people's faces. He was threatening to like stab the driver. It was like one of those situations, and I was like, I can't be the one to say like everything's fine as it is. Nothing has to change, right? And this is like a veiled real estate discussion. It's just like we don't need improvements. It's good. And then I'm like, there always has to be like you always have to clean the kitchen after you make food and so you can make food. And like where it gets out of hand is like when you weaponize that thought and then completely change the idea of transportation bus. It's like now these people are not allowed to do this, and I'm like, well, then we're getting into a sticky situation, and rich people like Ken Griffin are kind of weaponizing it in that way, which is disingenuous.
Yeah, I think your best move there was to preemptively stab the driver.
Yeah. Or
No,
maybe this driver should have stabbed himself. Like, dude, chess. This is some Wemby, Washington Square Park chess.
and just get one, always thinking several moves ahead.
Yeah. I saw someone who was just like, oh, Washington Square Park is a hellhole, and someone's like, I'm there right now. It's really beautiful. But yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Safety. I I always feel like the real estate, safety, cozy soup and burger, Manhattanhenge. These are all things to get heated about that are pretty basic things. Like it's just basic stuff.
Well, I think one of the issues is that there is an association, justifiably, with the safety of a neighborhood based on it becoming wealthier. And that's typically how it works because we don't have like a social safety net for impoverished people. We don't have a system to necessarily elevate the people who are living in poverty. Our solution is make the place better and they'll leave and then bring in people with more money. And look, the neighborhood's cleaned up. It's nice now. It's like, how'd you do it? Well, we moved out the inhabitants and we pushed everything up in price and it's safer now. Like that's how we decided to solve safety for the most part. Or we just like bust loads of cops. They'll just kind of militarize the zone. I think the idea of safety though in New York is strange because there are so many people. There are just such a density that is unlike anywhere else in the United States that you are going to encounter people who are unwell a decent amount. and they stand out. They are a sore thumb. It's like after basketball, a couple of us went and sat in Washington Square Park. So many people there, hordes and hordes and hordes of people, all types, tourists, young people, teenagers, adults, musicians, whatever. And you still end up with like 3 weird interludes where someone walks up to you and says, "Hey, can I draw you?" To like one of our buddies. And he's like, "I don't really know. Come on." And the guy's like, "Come on, let me draw you." He's like, "Fine." And he shows them the paper, and it's just his face in this horribly twisted manner with dollar signs written everywhere. He's like, "Thanks, dude." He's like, "No, you can keep it." He's like, "Great. Appreciate it, man." So I just mean you're going to have these encounters. I don't know what's actually safe and what isn't. Is being somewhat uncomfortable or not enjoying someone's presence, is that the same as being unsafe? I can't say.
Making it too complicated, man. Right? Like this is what I mean. It's just like people will go to a beautiful site, and if it becomes popular, like, right, is the bar too loud? Maybe it is too loud, right? Maybe there are too many food trucks. Maybe these rich people are annoying, but they have a point. It's just like, dude, there's too many food trucks. It's like, but is it you're the problem because you are kicking people out? It's like, all I'm saying is there's too many food trucks, right? It's like, can we feel a degree of safety? Can you paint that wall? Simple stuff. It doesn't have to be like a per capita issue. It's just like, well, I'd like to like not be annoyed if that's possible. It's like that's reasonable.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck it. Maybe there's too many food trucks. I don't know.
Yeah, I just feel like the safety and the idea of safety and is
The idea of anything, the idea of basketball, right? Like, hey, my point guard's not good enough. It's like, but is it some sort of math thing? I'm like, no, just get a taller point guard. It's like, oh, you and your calculator. I'm like, do we want to win more games or not?
right. I just feel like we're in this era when feeling unsafe and being unsafe have been mushed in a way because of the fact that we hear about everything all the time. We see it all. We can be on the subway via someone's phone when this crazy person starts doing something, and we never would have seen
Or
that in the past. But if you wanted to, like, I'm gonna dive in. I'm gonna get into the New York is falling apart. The zookeepers are like all these just like racist tropes from New York Post people, and they're just doing it all day. They're just on the Post Twitter account or their social media, the reels, whatever, and they're just completely subsumed into this idea that New York is this crime-ridden, festering abyss. And you're like, yeah, but what if you walk outside over there and you realize like it's not?
Well, yeah, it's profitable because not only are they looking for people to be like, it is crime infested, they're looking for people who are like, no, it's not. Right? It's just like an audit. It's like top 10 pizza spots. I'm like, I just make it safer. I don't really care for this argument. Like, I don't care about math in sports. Is my team doing cool stuff? Like it I think it can be simplified in that way. Where obviously the Elizabeth Street Garden or Blank Street Coffee has like a really long debate around it. Or you could possibly just be like, I'm not really down for shopping at Blank Street Coffee, and it doesn't have to be an identity thing and coming out of identity politics, right? Like, there's a reason why we're seeing so many artworks about liminal spaces, like Backrooms is a hit movie about wandering forever between potential and actuality, right? Um, I do think we complicate it. It's like, what's that backspace? It's like, that's where we put my mop. It's like, well, but what if it was a maze? I'm like, what if it was a maze?
I mean, the whole premise of that is like an internet joke, but maybe it works.
That's a great premise. I mean, It's wonderful. I was thinking about when this idea was extremely hot, right? Pre Y2K, New York trilogy, Paul Auster. A private detective is tasked to follow a man to investigate him. And he's at Grand Central and he sees two men of the same description. And he has to choose in that split second who to follow. He chooses one person, and no spoilers, but something happens. And he will always wonder as a reader if followed the right person. And I think these ideas are coming back, which is shocking to me because Radiohead is a known thing, and they wrote in a few albums about this idea, popular albums, and it is an attractive idea, like the in between place. But we had superior artworks about this. Like my favorite is Somewhere, the Sofia Coppola movie, because it was about an in between space of like duty, and I just absolutely love that movie. I'm a Dorf head, I guess. But this movie, while I definitely want to see it, feels so backwards. I'm like, are we back to square one here?
I mean, are we gonna get a Slender Man movie again? Like what
Dude,
exactly?
we'll talk about basketball in a second. You keep on getting into hoops before it's time, dude.
But yeah, I think you know this aesthetic rekindling of interest in, as you said, liminal spaces is funny because the idea of the third space is such a talking point for younger people. We don't have third spaces. Are you sure though? It's somewhat
Right.
true, but are you sure?
Yeah.
Like you could go to a park. You could,
Oh, cozy soup and burger clothes there. Oh,
I
my
mean,
third space.
like, look. So when we were growing up, we had shopping malls. We'd go there and we'd walk around. That was our third space. Okay, that's true. Okay, yeah, that was a third space, but like
Doug Shaw was a third space king.
he was a third space king. But yeah, it's such a popular part of conversation, and the only way I do agree with that in some is that the sort of fascist environment of the U.S. that's like, hey, you can't be there unless you're shopping. You can't be in that parking lot unless you're parking.
Yeah.
You can't hang out on that stoop unless you own this place. And I do sort of feel for kids who are outside of, say, a New York City where it's just third spaces. Like there's nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to build on that point, my frustration is like I think these are real ideas. I think the kids are right. It's interesting. Through through that idea, when the YBAs came into the scene and Gary Hume was painting skulls that were like hospital doors, or the 2000 biennial, which is like Electric Earth, right? Like Doug Aiken. Really smart people talked about this. Fucking that movie Schenectady, which is maybe the best movie I've ever seen. Charlie Kaufman was talking about like building a fortress of solitude around this liminal space, the sound stage upstate, right next to your Wegmans. Um, so I think there's like such an amazing uh, trope there that when it's back in the form of back rooms, it is interesting. But I'm like, this is a really valuable thought that like I fear will betray my elevated feeling of it.
Yeah, I guess you do run the danger when a movie becomes very popular and sort of maybe
Then it,
oversimplifies a concept
yeah,
or
yeah.
popularizes one element of it, like when the idea that there's an alternate reality is just the Matrix. Like, well, that was a really successful movie. You put that into the vernacular of the world, that like red pill, blue pill. I'm like, this concept of multiple realities and different universes and you choose this. I'm like, wasn't the Matrix that invented this concept?
Listen, it's SGA and Chet. One is very smart, one is very dumb, and they travel around the USA. And in the end, one of them shoots him in the back of the head. It's a new story. I just made it up.
Oh man, I forgot that Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure ended that way. Shit.
Which is like, I mean, not to be annoying, which I already am, but that is like a heavy movie. Like So Crates, it's just like they didn't have to do that stuff. It's just like, oh, you're gonna bring fucking Socrates into this a knee slapper of a movie? God damn it! I thought that movie was underrated. It wasn't as innocent as Dude, Where's My Car, which was also amazing.
Before we talk about the NBA Finals with the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs, I wanted to run a little quiz by you, Andrew. Okay.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I mean, it's a quiz. It's not really that. It's just a question. So, a tweet showing a map of every U.S. county. And it says, here are all the counties that are 10% Irish and over 10% Italian. Both. Over 10% Irish, over 10% Italian. How many American counties would you guess? Like what? How red would that map be, in your opinion?
Red with the wave of Celtics fans' hair. Growing up, I just thought the entire USA was Irish and Italian. I'm just like, I thought that was just white. I was confused. I was like, is this like St. Patrick's Day? Is this like a national holiday? Does everybody eat spaghetti and meatballs cut with razor thin garlic? So I would say like 85%.
It's like a tiny fraction. It's crazy. It's all of like this belt through New York State that is more or less following from New York City along the Erie Canal. So like Rochester is included in this because I also grew up thinking the same thing. Like, yeah, white people are mostly Irish and Italian. That's what white people are. And
Right.
I mean, I'm just going to show it to you. It's crazy. Look at that shit.
Can you describe it for people who can't?
It's not something you can see. No, it's a tiny smattering of red in the Northeast. Almost all New York City, like, you know, sort of Delaware, a little Massachusetts, some Pennsylvania, and then like an assorted county around the, you know, okay, here's like 2 in Illinois or 1 in Wisconsin or 1 in whatever that state is that's a square, 1 in Louisiana. What are the rest of these white people?
What's the take? What's going on? What's happening?
Well, what are the other white people, Andrew? I thought all white people were Irish and Italian. What are they? Are they Albanians?
Well, Irish and Italian identifying, right? So when you ask somebody what they are, it's up to the answer for that data. So if they are of Italian origin and maybe like a few 100 years outside of showing up at Ellis Island, do you just not say you're Italian?
Maybe. I don't know. I was just shocked by that. Like, what are they like? Nah.
French? Is it just all French people?
Yeah.
Is that what you're getting at?
Direct descendant of Lafayette over here.
Yeah. British? Were they all British?
I mean, there has to be something with the math in different counties, right? Just to, because it's 10%, 10%. So you're basically looking at a quarter of your population is of only those two groups. So if you're 50% Latino, then you're not going to fall into that. Just the math isn't going to work out. I'm just looking at this from a statistical standpoint, where maybe it's not just about white people not identifying. Maybe it's that those specific percentages are harder to find than you think because of the demographics of the United States.
Mm-hmm. Should there be a basketball team that was Italian themed? Should it be the Knicks?
Well, I found out the Knicks lore was this character whose name was Dietrich Knickerbocker.
Was he a slave owner?
It was a fictional character, I believe, that was created by Washington Irving. Does this make sense?
Sleepy Hollow, bro.
Yeah, I think someone sent it
Headless
to me, and I
Horseman, dude.
immediately forgot. I was like, "Wow, what an interesting piece of lore to share on our podcast." And
My
I
name.
forgot it right away. I was like, "My name is sort of in it." Like my name. That was my primary interest.
Yeah.
Dietrich mentioned.
Maybe. Well, then that would have to be. We can't have two Irish themed teams in the East, right? I mean, to your point, it would only occur in the East, but you can't have the Celtics and the Dietrichs.
No, but also that name is more German, even though I'm Irish. We don't. We need a like
Oh,
Italian.
should there be a German team?
But I really
Why is Boston the only is Irish like ethnic, or
the
how
Celtics.
come
Yeah,
there
it's ethnic as shit.
is I mean, do I kind of associate it with a country? But I guess it is ethnic.
I mean,
Oh,
yes, it's about a nationality, but we also don't have another country reference, right? I mean, I guess you could like the Minnesota Vikings. They're kind of referencing another country in a way.
is uh, is Devin Booker playing for a team about Japan? Are,
Mm.
are the Spurs Chinese? I had to Google Carter Bryant to make sure he wasn't Asian. I was like, this dude kind of looks fucking Asian, man. And I Googled it. No, he's not. But I will be Googling that every time he dunks on OG Ananobi's head. I'm like, is this dude Asian or not?
Yeah, they're calling him the next Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah, two of them together make one whole Asian, or
I
maybe
feel
half.
like
I don't know.
the Asian claiming of basketball players in the NBA right now is getting a little out of control.
It's peaking. It's the finals, baby.
Like, so you're claiming Harper?
I'm claiming Harper. I'm claiming Wemby. I'm claiming Carter Bryant. Obviously, my dude Jordan Clarkson. And I'm taking Brunson with me. He's Asian.
He is Asian coded. Jared McCain, unfortunately, won't be here to serve cunt in the garden, but also Asian.
Mm-hmm. Who are we forgetting? Nah, yeah, Brunson's the honorary Asian. He has Asian energy, and he's not even my favorite Nick. My favorite Nick is Carl Anthony Towns, but yeah, Brunson has kind of that Asian dome.
Look, I'm just listening to you talk. You know,
I'm talking.
I have no.
I'm talking. Carter Bryant, Asian. Wemby in New York. I mean, when the Spurs, when the Spurs defeated the Thunder, my heart went out to Procell. Watching millions of dollars evaporate by not having the Thunder in New York City for weeks, right? Because those drip lords are no longer in the tournament. I don't know. Like, if Wemby went into your store, you'd be like, I don't have anything that fits you. I have a couple of double XL Knicks tees by Cookies Hoops. That's what you'll be wearing.
It would be an honor, says Wemby on his way.
Cookies, you say?
All right, so we're here. We're here, Andrew. Knicks in the finals, playing against the San Antonio Spurs. Before we talk about the dream matchup, in my opinion, this is what we wanted to see. This was it, in my opinion. I was so excited to see this, and it worked out phenomenally. Let's at least do a little autopsy here of what went wrong with OKC. Obviously, the defending champions lost in Game 7. It was competitive. I mean, they got within a couple possessions late, but the Spurs did not win on a game winner. They closed it out. A lot of talk about their players being floppers or bitches or passive.
Whoa.
No, I mean,
Whoa.
that
We
one
don't
viral.
have to genderize.
I'm saying that viral tweet. It's like, forget all the numbers. Basketball is about who's a bitch and who's not. You're like, exactly right. That's what I'm.
They're all dogs.
Who's the dog?
Yeah. It's funny because On in conversations in real life or online, the Thunder are floppers, but now the Spurs are dirty. Brunson, not ethical. Trademark cookies hoops. And James Harden, also a flopper. Just sounds like people don't like basketball. All four teams been attacked ethically, morally.
Sometimes I regret that we introduced the concept of ethical basketball to the universe. It has completely consumed conversations about the sport, particularly in this year's playoffs.
It has taken a blanket meaning, not unlike gentrification, where people will be like, that wasn't a foul. That's unethical. I'm like, no, it's a missed call. Or that is a foul. I don't know. It's about 3-point shots, but sort of like Dime Square, we are no longer in jurisdiction. It is beyond our control.
You don't understand. The most ethical shot is a dunk. It's not a mid-range jumper.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
jam. It's a slam jam dunk. That is the
That's
most
correct.
ethical. It's not a fadeaway jumper. It's dunking.
Yeah, and when a player hits a three, it is not ethical. It is unethical. Hence
Yeah,
the whole point. We're playing like John Havlicek over here. Hondo, you may know him as. 8 for 8 in the finals.
you love saying Hondo, and I think it's because it sounds like an Asian name.
He's also Asian. I Googled it and it's true.
So anyway,
Asian Irish. Spice bag. They call them the big spice bag. I'm just talking.
I know it's great. I love it. Do you have any enduring thoughts about the OKC Spurs series? Because mine is that OKC lost their second best player to injury. They lost their best guard off the bench to injury, and then they weren't able to score enough.
Deep breath. I'm putting my pretentious cap on. When people ask me how I feel about basketball right now, because it's peaking, and I'm grateful that people think about me when the Knicks are doing well, my answer has just become a blanket, like it's a time for reflection. And what I mean is, this is all about the clock and your lifespan and the time on a basketball backboard, the window in which these athletes have to succeed. This is all it's about. Nothing more, nothing less. It's about our time on earth on the court. So my takeaway thought is time is so precious because the Thunder are fucking good and they just weren't healthy and it's no one's fault. No one it can be blamed here. Their second best player, who is the best player on many other teams, basically missed the season. What can you do? Time is so precious. That one championship is so valuable.
Yeah, I was thinking about OKC, where they are the emblem for the perfect rebuild. Everything hit, just magical. It's like, hey, we're going to trade Paul George to you, and in return, you're going to give us the future two-time MVP, but also J Dub, the All Star, also a bunch of picks. It is this sequence of events that a GM would dream about.
Masterful.
And they were masterful. And there is a universe also where Halliburton doesn't get hurt. And OKC is now looking at this entire process that was, every bit of it was perfect. And they don't even have a ring. They were on the other side of that luck this year. But last year, the Pacers might have been that team who out of the blue comes and wins a title over OKC, and their best laid plans fall apart.
Last pod, I said the Knicks' success like kind of brings me melancholy, and I couldn't really figure out why. I think I figured out why, and it's kind of what you're describing. I have my pretentious cap on. Please please offer me some sort of sympathy here. But like, I really love the idea that there's concurrent realities, right? Like you're
Like
talking
the
about
Matrix.
Paul Auster. It is Dennis Schrodinger's cat. But you're talking about like a multiple, an alternate reality where, right, Halliburton wins a championship. KD's foot isn't on the line. Um, that Kawhi Leonard shot doesn't go in, right? There is a certain, as that Kawhi Leonard shot ball is bouncing around, there are multiple futures. And in that split second when the ball goes through, you have to open the box to see if the cat's dead or alive, which I think is melancholy. I don't want to open the box. I want that ball to be bouncing around forever because I want the possibility of joy. I want the cat to be alive. I don't want it to be dead. I want it to be living. So, Carl Anthony Towns life. Um, I don't like opening the box. I don't like finding out what Wemby is, and I don't like the Knicks in the finals.
Well, tough luck, buddy.
We there's time. It's the clock. It's time to open the box, right? And like, um, I think this is so annoying of me, but I think Presti is back to sealing the box again. Now there's multiple realities that he has to deal with, right? Like, how are you going to pay these players? Someone broke it down. It's like it could be really simple. It's not a puzzle of his offseason, but he has the opportunity because of his assets to really do something special. And that's not necessarily Giannis, but like Trey Murphy the third has been talked about this week. I don't know, but when I say time is so precious, this team looked like uh, a fortress of basketball solitude, and it crumbled so fast to the point where I went going into Game 7 being like, I don't want the Knicks to face this really great team with this really great player. To like, they're fucking beatable. That's the team I want. Caruso hero ball, okay, we're in good shape if the Thunder go on.
Yeah, the injuries took their toll. I mean, they were confronted by choices between offense or defense in a way that just doesn't happen when you have J Dub out there. Like
Yeah.
you have to say, okay, I guess we're going to have to put McCain out there for shooting and spacing. And he shot poorly in the series anyway, but they had to make that decision. We need to get more off ball juice out
He's
there.
not supposed to play. Yeah, he was not supposed to play these minutes.
No, and then, Lou Dort, he was shooting poorly. Like, okay, we don't really put him on the court because they're not going to guard him, and we're not really comfortable with our entire offense being, governed by Lou Dort's 3-point shooting right now. We just
Lou
don't
Dort's
feel
governed.
like that. We just don't feel like that being our reality. We need an alternate reality
Yes,
with Caruso out there, and Case and Wallace almost won them that game.
I love Case and Wallace. The Nets should max him out. The Nets should pay him everything. I think he's scalable. But yo, as the only one who believed in the world champion Chet Holmgren, you gotta shoot more shots, dude. You just have to take a shot. Like, I think he's a wonderful player. I don't think like this is an indictment on his lack of dog or whatever. But like the matchup was bad. Styles make fights, and while Wemby neutralizes him, to see him kind of not give up was just like, yo, the Thunder all of a sudden the complexion of their rebuild changes.
Yeah, I don't have any comment or real thoughts about just Chet. Did he fold under pressure, or was there a reason this occurred? Was this schematic? Was it a flaw in OKC's offensive outlook? Was it a way they were being defended? I mean,
Don't ISO versus Wemby. Don't post up Wemby. I don't know.
but I also just mean, okay, how did you not figure out a way to get him some threes? He's a good shooter.
Yes.
Like where was he as a roll man catching some lobs? Like where were those looks versus as you said, him on the baseline squaring up against Wemby and being like, actually, we could probably find something better than this. That
You put
I'm
him in
not
the dunker
suggest.
spot
Yeah,
more. Yeah, he's a weapon. He's a weapon, right? And he is a wet noodle. But there's ways to counter Wemby that the Knicks kind of did in the mid-season tournament victory, where Cat kind of forced Wemby's hand a little bit. And Chet has that skill set. I know he's not as big as Cat, but I was kind of befuddled watching that pretty easy win for the Spurs in Game 7. Um, and all those reasons you talked about are true. I mean, McCain, I don't know. As soon as McCain gets all those minutes, I'm like, it's a wrap.
well, my thing with McCain was that he shot really poorly, and
He's not a bad
I think
shooter.
no, I think he could have had an impact in that series because they needed some offensive firepower, but he just didn't give it to them. I think he shot under 30% from three. I think he
Yeah.
shot like under 40% maybe.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I believe his like true shooting percentage was something like 46% in that series. He doesn't give you enough elsewhere to not be a good scorer, and he was not a good scorer. And that's why, just as a tiny little segue on the Sixers shit, it's like
Wait,
people be
wait.
like,
Shout out to AJ Mitchell though. We
yeah,
have to mention his injury too, because
I said it right off the bat.
oh my bad, my bad. I was thinking about Dennis Schrodinger's cat.
Oh yeah, yes. Well, yeah, no, I said their best player off the bench was gone
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, just seeing Sixers fans getting like furious when McCain was out there not playing well. And be like, you're telling us we couldn't have used this? Like, he's not even playing well. I like him as a prospect. You don't even like him as a prospect. You're just still mad.
It's too stupid. All this is just too stupid. Like,
But
it's
the whole thing is like
too
they don't
stupid.
care about McCain. They don't care about the trade. It is still this enduring fury over the idea that Morey traded away a player at the deadline instead of bringing in talent because they still think the Sixers were trying to win. They weren't. They weren't investing in this year's team, and people still think they were. It's very weird. Moving along.
Yeah. All the smart people left these discussions a while ago. I want to talk hoops a lot online with strangers, and it's just like these are just. I know these takes you speak of. They're just so stupid. There's
You
nothing.
don't even like McCain as a prospect. You don't even think he's good. Just the fact that he is on the floor is evidence that Morey betrayed this team. He's been fired. Move along.
Yeah.
It's over. We'll talk more about their.
At least they replaced him with a genius, like a proven GM. Was it Masai? Was it Schmitz? Who was it?
Do you want to talk about that for a second and then get that out of the way?
I thought you were gonna segue into that.
I was thinking about
do
it.
some Sixers real quick.
Okay, real quick. So they hired this guy. Is it Mike Gansey? Gansey something. Mike Gansey? Gansey has been hired. Mike Gansey, yeah. Cavs, lifer, started with the Chargers and their G League team. Canton Chargers, I believe. And he was their GM, but he was also working under Kobe Altman. It's hard to say which decisions he made. The credit that he's been given is for the development of guys like Jalen Tyson, Sam Merrill, some of these, later draft picks or undrafted guys who've turned into rotational players. Like, cool. Those are nice things to have on your resume, but also, I haven't heard anyone say this guy is extremely smart. I haven't heard anyone say this guy is really bright. This is an amazing get. And the reason I believe that is the case is not because I don't think he can be competent in this role. It's that the Sixers' job offer sucks. It sucks. Do you want to come and work under your boy, Bob Myers? Do you want to work with Elton Brand and Ned Cohen lurking around the front office who are seemingly unfireable? Do you want to have Nick Nurse already installed as a coach? Do you want to have this cap situation that cannot be solved without, major upheaval that you aren't going to be allowed to do within like the next 2 or 3 years? It's a
I
bad
think it's a
job.
good job. No, I think it's a good job. Every one of these 30 jobs is good. I think most people say yes.
Yes, this is true. There's only 30. But if you are someone who's like, I really want to become a GM and there's going to be some openings and I'm willing to be patient, it's not ideal. But yes, it is one of 30.
Yeah. And like the Sixers cannot follow up a smart guy with another smart guy, right? Like it is just they have to go with a company man and then they'll follow him up with another smart guy. It is they're responding to the fan base and they're responding to themselves. Like they in sports in life, I guess, you do things not entirely in your best interest, but for like subtle ideas of probability. It's like we tried the smart guy. Look where we're at. Let's try a different guy. I'm like, uh, okay.
I mean, it's so true though. It's like you're looking at it's like, okay, we're going to do the dork thing. Hinky.
Right.
All right. Let's bring in the basketball lifer, the Colangelo family. Okay. That didn't work. Maury, let's bring the dork back. Okay. Bob Myers, what about this? He's got a nice head of hair and he's full of corporate jargon. Perfect. He's an imbecile. Get him in here.
Yeah. I mean, Leon Rose shocked me. So maybe Bob Myers too. More Bob Myerses will shock me as well.
I mean, they might do a good job. I'm not saying that it's impossible. I mean, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We'll see how this works out. But I did feel like a little hollow in the pit of the stomach when I saw that video from Sloan from a couple of years back. And it's Bob Myers and Maury just talking for a couple of minutes about sort of an array of team building concepts. And Maury just run laps around him just effortlessly.
Yeah.
And everything Myers said is so dumb and so predictable and so bland. And I can only hope that he's lying. Like maybe he doesn't believe the garbage he was saying. He's like, I don't know if you saw this video. He's like, if your star isn't a hard worker and he doesn't inspire the rest of your team, he's got to go. And Daryl Morey's like, you have Steph Curry. Like, what about the rest of us? There's like 5 of those guys. Like, what star are you just going to go and get? You can't just go and get them. That's not how this works. And Myers is just kind of like muzzled, says nothing. It's like Bob Myers is, I don't know if he's a dumb guy, but yeah, that brief window into his basketball worldview was not inspiring.
I always want to know where someone's like vanity lies, because in order to have any sort of like self-preservation, there has to be some sort of positivity in there. And like, Bob Myers strikes me as someone who talks too much, but his vanity is visceral, right? Leon Rose, his vanity also exists, but it's not visceral because he doesn't say shit, right? So we have nothing. And I'm like, Leon, would you like to go to the Sloan conference to talk about Maury? He's like, no, thank you. Would you like to talk to the Post? Like, no. It's like, would you like to make a statement? He's like, why? And I'm like, oh, his vanity is elsewhere and more elusive. But as we shift to the finals, I feel like it's hard to get a read on what the front office influence is, because I don't know what the Sixers look like if they don't draft VJ Edgecombe. And I don't know what the Knicks look like if they can't get their hands on Karl Anthony Towns at a discount.
Yeah, I mean, going down that long rabbit hole, it's like, well, if Kawhi's shot misses and then Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid go on and win a finals with Jimmy Butler and they bring back that whole team, it all changes. Everything changes. You
got to open the box. But something has to mean something, right? Like at some point you have to find out if Dennis Schroeder is alive or
not. So you're going to find out Wednesday. This fuck around and finding out process begins.
Mm-hmm.
Before I maybe I'll offer my prediction first.
Yeah, just keep talking. Let's go.
I I think the Knicks are going to win.
Mhm.
I can't help but draw and have even before this OKC series with the Spurs parallels to LeBron knocking off Detroit. This formidable former champion, defensive oriented team, and LeBron was just unbeatable. But he wasn't in his final state yet. And then he went and he lost in the finals to the Spurs. His team wasn't that talented. This Spurs team with Wemby is a far more talented than that shit show that LeBron dragged to the finals. That was like,
Shoot it,
the
booby, shoot it. No, that was
yeah,
a
it was like the
different series.
hobbled
But that's-
corpse of Zydrunas. It was like
Rest
just
in
a
peace, Daniel Marshall.
he might have been on there. Yeah, it was a bad team, and this is not the Spurs we're talking about, but they are young. So this just is a parallel to me that Wemby conquering OKC, knocking them out, is his achievement for this season. But I think the Knicks, they're just a bunch of veterans. They're just good. The Knicks are good. They're healthy. Other than Mitch's finger, whatever the hell happened there, I'm gonna go with the Knicks.
The Knicks beat the Spurs surprisingly this season a couple times, maybe 3 times, including the tournament, midseason tournament. There are specific matchup problems for the Spurs. Styles make fights, but um, OG Wemby has been well discussed. Wemby, OG gets kind of in Wemby's chest in a way that Chet did not. The spacing of Carl Anthony Towns was a really big problem for the personnel of the Spurs. Since then, Asian sensation Carter Bryant has emerged as a rotation player, so that calculus kind of is to be seen. I don't know why I said that so pretentiously, but well, fuck around and find out, Carter. Um, I I like the Knicks here too. I've had the Knicks like probably winning. I have overestimated all their opponents. I am overestimating the Spurs not because of some sort of expectation management, but I do think the Spurs are fucking awesome, young, and that scares me. Like, is there going to be a, a Harper game that is going to shift the series? Like, I don't know enough about Carter Bryant other than that he's 100% Asian to feel good about this. But I do think the Knicks will thrill us.
I also just the statement you said before, not about Carter Bryant being Asian, but that OKC was the more beatable team because of their injuries.
Yes.
I agree with
Yes.
this, right?
Yes.
That's true. I also think that the counterpart is that the Knicks are facing the worst team. Does that make sense? Right?
Something
It's
has
like,
to mean something. That point taken. Point taken.
but right, it's like well, it would have been better to play OKC because they aren't healthy. It's like yes,
Yeah.
but the worst team to play would be healthy OKC.
Yeah.
You're playing the
Or-
Spurs, which isn't as which isn't as bad to play as healthy OKC. You still are playing a version of a team that isn't as good as the one that you potentially could have. That's still a good thing for the Knicks.
I mean, this is so dumb, but I pray for the health of Carl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby, because if those guys are feeling good, there's a real shot we're gonna have a parade. If those guys, if something happens, an ankle or OG pulls up with his hammy, man, we were close, you know. But I do think this series, at full strength, both teams might go to the Knicks in a 51% probability. I sadly, I think it's going to come down to which chess piece is going to get hurt first. Like, I I'm just watching to see if Dylan Harper is how he looks.
Yeah, I mean that's
Asian.
the war of attrition of the playoffs
Yeah.
slog, death march, whatever you want to call it. I mean, plays a
Yeah.
role all the time. All the time, this matters. Like Luca,
Yeah.
his had a bad hammy. I mean, that year when
Brunson.
KD's toe
Yeah.
was on the line, it's like, yeah, like James Harden had a bad hamstring. Kyrie was out. Like these, like it happens all the time. Health is a huge, huge role. And I also don't. I'm not implying that the Spurs were sort of gifted this by the injury to Jalen Williams. I'm saying it. They earned it. They outplayed
Yeah.
them. They were fucking exciting. They were so fun. That opening like few minutes of Game 7 where they were just running around and jamming. The Spurs are so cool.
Can I talk shit about Wemby for a second? That pretentious
Yes.
dude. He's so pretentious, man. It's like, I don't want to be a burden of my own feelings. Whatever, this gobbledygook. That's something I would say on cookies. Like, man up. Be a soldier out there. Be a dog. I don't want any of this. Like, I'm now a Shaolin monk. Like, all this is, if an AI program generated a type of personality, it would be like, okay, you're gonna play pickup chess in Washington Square. You're gonna train with Shaolin monks. You are going to rap in the style of A Tribe Called Quest. You are gonna say, "My emotion, I will no longer be burdened." Like, you know what I mean? He is the enemy,
Yeah.
even though he's
This is
Asian.
this is what I like to see.
Fuck
This
this
is
guy.
yes, this is Quo, the wartime consigliere.
That's
Let's
right.
do
That's right.
this.
Fuck this pretentious guy, man. In Dumbo, shooting Manhattanhenge, eating off of food trucks. I'm shaking my fist outside of my $5 million loft window.
Just as a brief aside, have you ever met anyone who went to Manhattanhenge or brought it up to you in conversation at any point in your life?
No. I mean,
I've
I've
never
been
been.
to Manhattanhenge, but I
You've
think
gone.
that's
That's crazy. Like you went.
all. I've been there multiple times. I was there last week, I think. I'm in Dumbo quite a bit. There's artist studios in Dumbo, man. You gotta scout them. But yeah, I mean, Dumbo's not big. It's like a really
But you were
tight.
like, all right, we're gonna get here and watch how these things line up and all that stuff.
It's crazy how many people are there. Totally unaware of everyone else, just like in their own world. It's awesome. It's awesome. Like, someone is going to write a really great essay about this someday. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Everyone's an artist.
I've never had anyone bring up like, hey, what are you doing later? I think we're gonna head into, where can you see Manhattanhenge in the city? Is it like the 40s or something, 30s? I don't know.
Right.
It's like
But
we're
like,
gonna head over. We're gonna watch this sunset through the buildings. You down?
but to be fair, no one's ever brought up Dylan Harper to me, right? Like, it's something I think about that Asian brother all the time. I'm like, bro, you're amazing. I'm a huge fan. You might have been a steal in the draft, even though you were so high. No one's ever asked me or talked about Dylan Harper. I don't think
need
you
better.
have. I think he just appeared in this conversation. No one at a bar is like, yo, I went to Manhattanhenge, and have you seen Dylan Harper's Basketball Reference page?
Yeah, I don't know. I think some of the fellas and I are gonna go hit Manhattanhenge. Maybe pre-drink for Manhattanhenge over at like Staten Island Henge. Hit a few different henges with my henchmen.
John Henson.
Tommy Henson.
Yeah, I was talking to someone yesterday, a very loud person, and they were just like, "Oh, I've been a New Yorker for 10 years. Love the Knicks. The city's actually better when they're when they're playing well." And they were just going off, and they were like, "So, do you think they're gonna get to the finals?" I'm like, "The finals start on Wednesday." They're like, "Wait. There's only 2 teams left." I'm like, "Yes, it's the Spurs and the Knicks." And they're like, "Oh, this
Sorry,
is
I'm
amazing."
sorry. I'm blinded by Manhattanhenge right now.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
But my first thought was envy. I was like, "You're free of this fucking burden." I'm like, "You are this league. You enjoy it on a visceral level that, like, I'm seeing casuals everywhere at Manhattanhenge shooting photos in Knicks bootleg shirts. And I'm like, this is fucking wonderful. This is a freedom to enjoy a slice of pizza without making a top 50 rank in your head with every bite.
You are carrying the burden of having to hide your emotions, and I want
I'm
you to
saying, I'm saying.
weep after the pod. I want the tears to flow.
Then fine. Then meet me in Washington Square. I'll be at the pickup chess table with my backpack. Don't look at me. Don't look at me unless you want to play chess. Is that a camera? Oh, I am here.
Yeah, it's weird that there's a whole bunch of professional film crews with me, but I think they were here already. They were interested in those people doing a little paint and pour thing over there by the fountain. And they just happened to see me here in the rain playing chess outdoors.
AI image generator Victor Wembanyama at Blank Street Coffee. What? Oh my God. This is going online. Getting that matcha. Yeah.
Just,
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, strategically speaking, you already know what the Spurs are gonna do. They're gonna put them on Hart, which is like what they always do.
I like that. I mean, it's worked. Yeah, you know how these runs to championships sometimes have like an unsung hero that you didn't expect to come through. In this case, it would be Landry Shamet, Waluigi, right?
Yep.
Like he's
Mhm.
become a bit of a folk hero. Um, this series demands that from the Knicks. I think in more ways than the Spurs. I think there has to be a wrinkle where like Josh Hart plays like really well or he makes decisions quickly. You know, like it is I keep on thinking Reggie Miller's call. I don't mind Reggie Miller. I think he's kind of fun. In that game 7 with OKC and San Antonio, and he every time OKC would get a rebound or any potential transition, he'd be like, "Go faster. You have to go fast. You have to think faster." And I'm like, "Exactly." Right? And like I think the speed of the Knicks, who have been thinking quickly all postseason, I think that presents a unique challenge for the Spurs, who didn't have to deal with that speed, ironically, versus SGA. Reggie Miller was right. Like, you have to go faster.
Well, I mean, part of this was the Cavs strategy, where if Garland, excuse me, Garland, if Mitchell or Harden got to the lane, whether he made it or not, the Knicks taking a page from the Pacers book was like, we're running.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if you are taking a shot, making a shot, anything, turning over anything in the paint with one of your guards, we are running at you the other way. And it's going to be OG. And it's going to either be like a guard trying to get back and stop him in transition, but he is out.
Yeah.
And the Spurs don't have that kind of weakness in transition that was able to be exploited because they're big and they're athletic and they're fast. And you can have Wemby, you know, if he's lurking around the 3-point line, you've got him back on defense. But it still is a strategy that they should try to do because Castle and Harper's phenomenal at like physically finishing in the paint. Ridiculous. But Castle's erratic. He takes bad shots. He misses them. He turns the ball over. If you get Castle driving a lot, and he's capable of doing some good stuff, but you can create turnovers and you can run the other way.
I agree. Castle is the weak link, however much I love his disposition and his slamming jammins. But I do think when Sohan was is Sohan a psyop? When Sohan was interviewed about how to beat his old teammate Wemby, he was like, we just got to get him tired. We got to run him ragged, right? And like I think that's the way. Constantly forcing Wemby to go from rim to rim with every possession. He like use his dog against him is kind of what I'm saying. Like let his emotions overflow, let him elbow you in the forehead, let him like hustle. And I think late in games we're going to see the results of that.
I think it's also worth mentioning that they've gotten pretty charmed shooting from Castle and Dylan Harper. Those
Mm.
guys they're okay, but they've shot above what they did during a regular season, and that is the kind of thing that could just go back the other direction.
Right.
I don't think they're bad, but them going from like 32, 33% shooters to like 38% shooters has really helped the Spurs because those are the shots that a lot of defenses were totally giving them willingly, and they knocked them down.
And Landry Shamit's going
Fox,
to still shoot 90% from three. So
absolutely. Also, Fox isn't that great of a shooter. This is why I just sort of believe that the Knicks have a good chance. There's some of these variables like the Spurs shooting isn't that great. The Knicks shooting is great. They're a really good shooting team. They have not as good as they've been, but
stressing me
they're
out.
really good.
Gonna
They
puke.
can space the floor. They can do a lot of things. I don't necessarily believe that the Spurs young guys are going to continue to shoot that well from deep. I don't know.
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, especially with Mikal Bridges, there's looks on the perimeter defensively for the Knicks that I enjoy. These guys cover a lot of ground, so I I'm gonna puke, man. I You're stressing me out. It's a lot.
Dude, it's ridiculous. We're sitting here talking about when the Knicks win this championship in a
Yeah,
week and a
dude,
half.
it's fucking insane, man. I'm gonna I'm gonna laugh, cry, and throw up at the same time. But yeah, we're here, and we have to open this box, and I don't like it. I don't like it for a second.
The fact that it's Wemby in MSG, it's just so cool
So
and so
sick,
perfect.
so sick.
And I mean, I bought a couple front row seats for me, and I got a couple for you, and we're gonna bring a
Oh,
bunch of our
cool.
friends. I raided Cookie's coffers, and yeah, I believe what is it, 4,000 to get into the building.
Yeah,
Like worst seat in the house is 4K.
let's overpay for courtside seats and be like, stop shooting threes. No free throw. You're flopping. Just end it. You guys are being too modern. Um, let's go back to just slamming and jamming. Our buddy bought has quarter seasons, and he got two 100 tickets for 4,000, 4,500 maybe. That's not a bad deal. It's like a shit ton of money that is only Cookies interns can afford. But oh, it's like
Well, it's
it's
a
real estate. It's demand. Like you want this or not. The Knicks have been gentrified.
well, yeah, $4,000 for a seat in the 100s is a
Two,
travesty. Or two.
four
No,
thousand
no,
for
but
each for two different games.
right, right. I'm saying, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, that's a travesty. In the grand scheme of the Knicks being in the finals and you get 3 home games at most, and them being insanely popular and having a monstrously large and, in many cases, affluent and rabid fan base, like, what do you think they're going to cost?
Yeah, I know. They're in the fucking finals. It's like, what do you think a loft in Dumbo is gonna cost? It's not. It's less.
$15.
Right. How much is rent? Like $1,000. It it's never.
Squatting?
Yeah. I always think about this story that I mentioned before, like my friend who's a real estate agent. It's like the real estate market doesn't get hot or cold. It's like the inventory. If 5 places come up, it's blazing hot. If none come up, it's cold. It's just inventory. And that's how the contemporary art market works. That's how fucking fanatics and sports cards work. And that's how tickets work. It is not gentrification, it's demand.
Well, it's funny because, like, the Rochester real estate market is apparently heating up. I'm like, well, right. It's the last place where stuff was cheap. Of course, it's heating up. They had an inventory of housing that people didn't want to live in because everywhere was so freaking expensive. And Rochester was cold and has many social malfunctions and it's gray. And people are like,
Good
market is
rapper.
on
Shit.
the market is on fire now. Everyone's coming into Rochester. Right, because it was like
Did
the
a white
last
hot
place.
market.
It was the last place standing.
Yeah.
Like you're like, hey, we've sold all the houses. Where can we still get people to pay more for housing? What about upstate New York? That seems cool.
And this is the framing
Syracuse.
that I'm
Buffalo,
guilty of.
Rochester.
Right. This is the framing I'm guilty of with the Knicks, right? It's just like I cannot I can honestly I'm melancholy about it. But like when a neighborhood like Rochester is getting hot, the reaction shouldn't be like, "Oh, that's fucked." The reaction should be like, "That's awesome for Rochester, man." I hope no one gets like thrown out of their house, but like a neighborhood getting hot is good. Like War and Peace isn't about war or peace. Like Ridgewood is getting hot. I'm like, "Cool." People are getting evicted. That's not good. People are moving in with enthusiasm. That is good. Like I fucking shout out to Rochester, New York.
But I also mean the Rochester one is like, well, we sold off the whole Sun Belt. What else we got? Where can we jack up the prices for rents? Where are the only places that people can still conceivably afford to buy a home right now? The Rock, baby.
I mean, if people don't buy it, the prices won't be jacked, right? And it's, I guess, buying tickets to the Knicks is a proposition that was always challenging. Like, unless you knew somebody with season tickets who didn't have someone to go with, getting into a playoff game is insanely difficult. And
Yeah, so I remember last year we had a connection and to buy them through the team, as opposed to on the secondary market. And I want to say they were for tickets, maybe 100s. I think they were like maybe something like 2,000 a pop, and that was the best. That was face. That was the best you could possibly get them for. I think it was around then, and they were selling them for the Eastern Conference Finals, and then also selling them for the NBA Finals. And they send out the pricing like, okay, you can order where you want to sit. Like, would you prefer to be in the 200s? You prefer to be in the 100s? You prefer to be in the 300s? And if you get in those spots, you're going to pay whatever that you pay, but it's your preference first. I don't know what those tickets are going on SeatGeek. Like, what is it? Is it like $10,000-$20,000 for
I think so.
a seat in the 100s? I probably has to be.
And Darren Rovell has been like tweeting about it. It goes up and down, the day of the market kind of like buckles, and there's different takes to draw from. But like, how there's a lot of talk about how IRL events are turning into kind of a version of class warfare, and the only joy is being doled out to people who can afford it. But at the same time, like artists are canceling tours this summer because there's low demand. And I'm like, it's hard to locate the real truth here. But in the MSG situation, I'm just like, you can get in if you can pay for it. It's not like impossible, but the Knicks are in the finals, and it should be this expensive because this is a once in a lifetime event.
Yeah, just glancing at it right now, there's one courtside, $108,000.
I'm surprised it's even for sale. I'm surprised that's listed.
Other courtside ones around there in that first group, 50K baseline, first or second row there, 33. Yeah, mid 100s, which are typically kind of like where if we're going to a game, like, okay, you're going to splurge a little bit, get in the 100s, 8th, 10th row, like they're always pricey, but it's a great way to watch a game. That's going to run you about 25,000. Let's do this.
So basically, we got it. Just click buy right now.
Let's cop. Oh, my thumb slipped. I just bought all of those. Shit.
I mean, if you were a day trader, could you buy them and flip them? Is there a market for that?
Well, I mean, it just seems like New York doesn't have loyal fans. You know what I mean? Like, who are these Knicks fans who are selling their tickets? They're going to let Spurs fans come barreling in? The busty women of San Antonio who have...
Congratulations, you have bought these courtside tickets. Please email hlutniks.hotmail@hotmail.com. What the fuck? Who is this? Howie, is this you? Yeah, someone the other day was like, I was like, I don't know. I have conflicted feelings about James Dolan. He's just not my favorite businessman to support if we're doing that. And they were like, yeah, did you hear that he chooses who sits courtside? I'm like, so there's this game called basketball, right? And there's one ball and there's two nets, and whoever gets the ball in the net more times wins. It's like obviously they haven't heard the Dr. D episode, classic episode of Cookies Hoops.
You don't know about celebrity row culture?
I was like, I have wasted my life thinking about this because look at this happy person being like, did you hear that they gave Timothy Chalamet those tickets? Like he didn't buy them. They put him there. And I'm like, I need to broaden my interests, man.
Like, have you heard about Manhattanhenge?
Let me bring up something out of the blue. It's not Stonehenge, it's Manhattanhenge. It's in Dumbo. The district under the Brooklyn Bridge?
Manhattan Bridge. Or no, Dumbo. No, it's Manhattan Bridge overpass.
Yeah. Have you been to the
overpass.
Timeout food court there?
No, you love Timeout food courts though.
I really love the one in Lisbon because it's sick.
It's pretty
awesome.
good. I've been to that one. It was pretty good.
Yeah, there's some delicious food to be eaten there. But the Timeout one in Dumbo is not as spectacular. But I like food courts in general. I find the options to be delightful.
Yeah,
you can create your own spice bag. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know you can do that. I like the only one I really love that I've been to is the super old school one in Barcelona. That shit is great.
What about New World Mall?
It's pretty cool. There's a new one out there too that I haven't been to. People say it's also good, but I presume it's all sort of the same stuff.
Yeah, that's the problem with like Flushing and the Chinese food out there. There's like 3 or 4 lanes, and as soon as you sample one of those lanes, you really don't have to go back. I mean, it's fucking delicious.
It's delicious, but it's like, hey, this is the chili oil lane.
Yeah.
This is more of a fish lane. Okay.
Carter Bryant, are you on the walk again? Are you walking up these water spinach? Yeah, the Dumbo is interesting, right? Because I'm contemplating moving my studio there because it's hard to find places to work. Messy in New York City now, and Dumbo still has spots. And I was there last week, just like checking it out. It's not what I remember. It's nice, not it's nice in a threatening way, sort of like the Knicks.
I've only been there once or twice in like a decade or so. I never really go there.
Oh, but you don't have children. Dude, I have to walk along that water like all the time because that's where all the parks are. There's a water park, there's a sand park, where Fini Pizza is. And then you walk up and you're at Dumbo. It's like a whole thing. Do you know what Space Club is?
No.
Oh, look at you. Look, you living your best life. Keep it that way. If someone mentions Space Club to you, run the other way towards Manhattanhenge.
What is it?
It's like a playroom for kids that costs a lot of money, and it's like there's a ball. It's all space themed. There's a ball pit. There's like ropes. It's misery, and every parent shudders at the words Space Club.
I might have gone to like a family member's birthday at one of those, or
there's one in Greenpoint. Yeah. It's cool looking. It looks like a liminal space for sure, but man, does it take years off my life and money out of my wallet.
Yeah, both those things are bad news.
But I'm courtside. You'll know I can afford courtside seats when you see me at Space Club.
All right. In a week, we're going to be, I guess we said two. I guess two. I guess it's going to be on the 3rd, the 5th, and the 8th.
I mean, depends on when we pod. We can wait till game 3 happens,
Yeah.
but
Maybe we should.
I'm nervous. Should I just not watch? Should I just go to Rochester for the next 2 weeks? Just
Well, so
sample
this is
some white hots?
sample. Well, here's my question. These are the biggest Knicks games you've ever seen, at least since 1999.
Yes.
Are you going to be in public? Are you going to be hiding in your home with the lights off? What are you going to do?
I don't like talking basketball with people, your present company excluded. So when I am in a room and someone's like, I just don't think James Harden wants it enough. I think he's a fraud. I'm like, shush. I have to go back to my dirty ass room and stare at this Russian feed if I streamed that Russian feed, which I don't, because I cannot be inundated with my willingness to be like social and polite, being like, well, actually, I don't think James Harden is a fraud, but I understand your point. Like, no, I'm watching Karl Anthony Towns bring Wemby out to the perimeter. I will be watching alone in my dirty ass room.
Yeah, for me, it's like everyone's entitled to their opinion. Great. Come up with your own thoughts. My issue is when someone like regurgitates one of those thoughts. Like, think about Holmgren. He's a bitch. Like, okay.
Right.
Where are we going with this? Yeah. He's a huge bitch.
Mikal Bridges, too zesty for me. I really enjoyed when we watched in the sea of kickball teams at that bar because our crew was relatively chill and everyone was just watching the game being like, oh, that was it. And I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was nice. Not a take was administered.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love takes, but yeah, to your point, when the take is like, I hate Asians and that includes Wemby, I'm like, not on my watch.
Yeah,
I love chess.
Yeah, my grief is with the same opinion I've heard 5 times, but now it's being uttered by you next to me. I'm like, I know that. I know this take. Give me a weirder one. Like, to take this one step further.
Yeah, and I don't mean to be
Chet is genderless. Okay, let's hear this. Right. Okay. He's asexual. Go on. I didn't know that.
Chet neither has balls or a vagina.
It's just smooth like a Ken doll. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
I mean, this is what I mean, and I don't mean to be a basketball Knicks hipster, but I am. And all I'm saying is to find yourself in this sea of like Chet groin jokes takes is the challenge. So when someone's like, who remembers Langston Galloway? And that single tear drops from my eye, you'll know that I'm heading back to my dirty ass room.
On Wednesday, we F around and we find out.
We might have a watch party. All that said, we might have a watch party. So keep your eyes peeled.
Cookies.
I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies.